And we are live. Hello and welcome everyone to Circuit Stream's XR Design Open House. Thank you all so much for joining us. Today, we're going to be delving into Circuit Stream's beginner-friendly 10-week interaction design and prototyping for XR course. We're also going to be getting a first-hand account of what it takes to go from being an XR enthusiast to an XR design expert with Circuit Stream alumni, Elián Stolarsky. I'm your host, Brendan, and before we get into it, I wanted to do a quick audio video check. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me and see me. It would be greatly appreciated. Hello, thumbs up, audio, video, looking good. Cindy, yes. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your feedback. Also wanted to provide a quick overview of your layout here before we begin. So to the top right of your UI here, you'll notice a little bell icon. If any of the noises or notifications from the chat are distracting or annoying to you, go ahead and hit that bell icon. It will silence everything. To the bottom right of your screen, you'll notice that there is a polls tab. So I do have a few polls. Just want to kind of gauge a few experiences of the audiences today. So I'll post a few polls throughout the presentation. And then lastly, we have our questions tab there. So we will have a Q&A at the end of our open house today. So if you have questions throughout, go ahead and put them in that questions tab, and we'll be sure to cover them at the end. And then lastly, actually, we have the chat tab. So obviously, we would love to hear from you. If you want to engage with other audience members, feel free. We also have team members in the audience today. So yeah, go ahead and use that chat tab as much as you like. So my name is Brendan. I'm on the Higher Education Partnerships team here at Circuit Stream and am personally based in Toronto, Canada. Again, in the comments, feel free to share where you're joining us from today. We would definitely love to know who's with us, where you're joining us from. It's always just exciting to see. So we got someone from BC, Ryan. Anywhere else? I'm from Toronto. Dayon in the audience is NZ on our team are joining us from Calgary. Yeah, Chicago, Nikki, awesome. White Rock, BC. Okay, beautiful. London. Okay, I think our furthest is London so far. Wonderful. Lots of Canadians and Americans in the chat here. Perfect. So as mentioned, later we'll be joined by a Circuit Stream interaction design alumni, Elián Stolarsky, who's joining us today all the way from Madrid, Spain. So Elián is currently a UX UI designer for FS Studio, and later we'll have the opportunity to ask her some questions about how she was able to cultivate her XR design skills, ask her about her experiences with Circuit Stream's interaction design and prototyping for XR course, as well as how she is applying her skills in her current career. Now, what's on the agenda for today? So I'd like to take the first 5 to 10 minutes just to shed some more light on Circuit Stream, as well as shed light on some of the major tools we teach here, namely Unity. Then I'll provide a breakdown of our interaction design and prototyping for XR course, which should take about 15 to 20 minutes. After that, we'll kick off our interview segment with Elián, which should take about 10 to 15 minutes. I'll then share some additional information about the course, such as prerequisites, pricing, and available financing options. And then before we conclude, we'll take 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes more. If there's a lot of questions, we certainly want to address them all. But we'll take that time for a Q&A at the end. So I'll get right into it. So who or what is Circuit Stream? We were founded in 2015 when we identified a gap in the demand for education relating to AR and VR. Our goal has always been to share a foundation of knowledge on the best tools, practices, and workflows for Unity, as well as XR design and development. To date, we've helped over 50,000 learners develop these highly sought-after technical skills. So what we have here at Circuit Stream is a global team of industry experts who are passionate about accelerating the AR and VR industry through education. We have team members and instructors all over the world, which also helps us accommodate students across multiple time zones and geographies. Circuit Stream is also a Unity training and channel partner. So partners are approved based on their expertise, focus on quality education, and on the demonstrated success of their students. So why learn Unity, and what is Unity exactly? Well, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Unity is an organization that's created one of the most extensive and robust development engines on the market. If you've seen the interface there on the right, then you're most likely already familiar with Unity. And if you've seen that little muffin clicker game on the screen there, then you've probably already been through our C# scripting fundamentals course. But for those of you who don't recognize this UI, Unity is a free 3D development engine for building apps, games, and experiences. It's also the easiest way to get started with creating various types of programs. Now, we know that Unity is used to create over 60% of the world's AR and VR content, and it is also responsible for an enormous share of the broader content and applications markets. The starting salary for Unity professionals here in Canada is around $60,000, and the average salary for Unity professionals in the US on many different experience levels is around $91,000. Last year, we also saw growth of 24% in the XR industry, meaning that job demand is expected to increase as well. So just a few kind of facts about Unity specifically. So this is an engine that is, not powered by gas or solar. It's actually powered by your ideas. So using its tools, interface, and incredibly broad scope of functionality, you would build your idea in Unity. Once you've created your application, you can then launch it on a multitude of devices using the relevant software developers kit, or SDK for short. And this sounds pretty simple, fairly straightforward, but for those of you who have yet to download the free version or really get in there and familiarize yourself with it, Unity has quite the learning curve. They have tons of great educational resources on their site, and there is no shortage of YouTube videos and blogs to help you along the way. But if you're looking to build job-ready skills, learn best practices, and have a support network throughout your learning, then look no further than CircuitStream. We've trained teams and professionals for some of the largest organizations in the world, such as VMware, Walmart, Hershey's, even the US Navy, just to name a few. We work with organizations large and small, right down to the individual learner. We're also partnering currently with both businesses and institutions in higher education to ensure that this industry has the talent necessary for its continued growth. Our catalog of XR certification and professional development courses are now even more accessible to students through our higher education partners. So you can now get XR and Unity certifications through well-established institutions such as the University of San Diego, University of California, Riverside, University of Reno, Nevada, Syracuse University, the University of New Hampshire, University of British Columbia, for all of those folks in BC that are joining us today, the University of Toronto, as well as Joliet Junior College in Illinois. Now, the focus of our conversation today will revolve largely around our interaction design and prototyping for XR 10-week course, but I wanted to give everyone a brief lay of the land here at CircuitStream with regard to our wider course offerings. Our two beginner-friendly 10-week courses focus entirely on XR. The XR development with Unity can be seen as the developer track and will help you cultivate programming skills and understand best practices for creating games, applications, and experiences for both AR and VR. Our interaction design and prototyping for XR course we'll take a closer look at in a moment. It can be seen as your UI, UX, or product design track, and we'll prepare you to consider how these AR and VR applications will be interacted with. Lastly, our Unity Developer Bootcamp is a career track complete with the opportunity to earn multiple certifications while receiving career support throughout the 30-week course. As mentioned, today's open house is highlighting our interaction design and prototyping for XR course. It is a live instructor-led curriculum that is project and portfolio driven. And that's supplemented with the opportunity to acquire an XR designer certification. The course has live instruction twice a week and ample opportunity to get extra support within CircuitStream's XR community via open office hours or optional one-on-one mentorship. You'll leave the course, with more than 3 portfolio projects and hands-on experience with augmented and virtual reality design methodologies. And the individual course is priced at $3,950 US. And the next upcoming cohort is going to be on March 8th, 2023. Now let's take a deeper dive here and talk about the star of the show, CircuitStream's interaction design and prototyping. The interaction design and prototyping for XR course has been designed by Aliatha Singleton a UI UX designer with more than 20 years of experience, and 7 of those 20 years have been specifically focusing on AR and VR. So you can see here the course is broken down into 8 units, focusing on either different parts of the design process or different tools common to the industry. And this will get us to our first poll of the day. So I'm just going to post, out of curiosity, have you already checked out our course syllabus? So I'm going to publish that. If you go on over to the polls tab, you can cast your vote, and we're just kind of curious to see how many members of our audience have been able to download that and take a look at it already versus if this is all new information to you. Looking at the units, so in the first unit, you will learn how to create a new project in Unity and develop a 3D scene. At the end of the unit, you'll be able to select, manipulate, and save objects, as well as populate your scene using the prototypes you construct. In Unit 2, you'll work with Shapes XR. So it's a popular XR design tool for VR. You'll have the opportunity to develop an immersive 3D prototype for a VR bowling app, where you'll learn how to use storyboards, wireframes, sketch, and prototype to create this experience. Unit 3 is your introduction to Unity, so you'll be learning how to bring XR concepts to life using Unity. You'll get practical Unity experience by creating and manipulating objects and importing and configuring assets to build virtual worlds. In Unit 4, you'll focus on expanding your project by implementing interactions and locomotion. You'll also expand on the basics of Unity and use new tools like Pro Builder and XR Interaction Toolkit for setting up those interactions. In Unit 5, we'll teach you how to create engaging and visually appealing user interfaces specifically for XR experiences using the powerful Unity user interface system for both 2D and 3D projects. In Unit 6, you'll be prototyping and creating a mixed reality furniture preview app using Microsoft's Mixed Reality Toolkit, or MRTK, which is integrated with Figma, and then you'll export to Unity for further development. Unit 7 is prototyping for mobile AR using Adobe Aero. You'll be using Aero to bring your AR concepts to life by testing your AR furniture prototype in the field using Aero's main components. So just a distinction between the previous furniture previewing app. So the MRTK is for mixed reality, and then Adobe Aero is for augmented reality specifically. So just a slight distinction there. Lastly, in Unit 8, you'll use Spark AR to take your app promotion to the next level by creating a Spark AR effect to use as a promotional tool for your prototypes. Finally, by the end of the course, you will have created 4 portfolio projects, which include a VR bowling experience with Unity, your mixed reality furniture preview with Adobe Aero, your AR mobile furniture preview, your AR overlay effect for social media with Spark AR, and then you also have the option to create your very own personal project or idea. So to pass the course, you must receive at least 70% on the final quiz, and you should have completed at least 2 of the class projects and 1 personal project for your portfolio. So successful completion of the course will result in you receiving an industry recognized certificate as well. Now, what else is included with the course? So personally, my favorite part about the education we provide has to be all the additional support we have available to our students. Our private Circuit Stream community on Discord is a great place to network, collaborate, or participate in events like game jams. It's also where the enduring support for students and alumni resides. We have student-led study sessions and open office hours 5 times a week with our instructors that are available to existing students as well as all of our alumni. This is great for continuing education, for troubleshooting, as well as project support in the future. I also want to give a massive shout out to Lucy, our student experience coordinator, as well as Arki for mixing things up regularly in there with coffee hours, showcases, and events like Demo Day, where our students are invited to share their personal projects and stories. Lastly, one of our most in-demand support options is our one-on-one support and mentorship sessions. One-on-one sessions are included in the Course Plus packages, and I'll be able to share more about those options shortly. For right now, however, we'll get into our alumni interview. So Elián, it pleases me to invite you up on stage to share your insights about XR design experiences.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks to Circuits team for having me and for inviting me. So yeah, we can begin with talking about a little bit first on my experience and how I end up doing UX design, and now UX design based on um, XR applications. And yeah, if you can move for the next slide, please.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll have a couple questions for you, but yeah, first off, can you tell us a little bit about your journey up to this point?
Yes, definitely. I basically started as I actually come from Uruguay, but I'm living in Madrid for almost 5 years, and that's also one of the reasons why I switch. Well, I didn't switch. I add another career to my own career. I come back from a fine arts background, so I'm basically an artist. As you can see on the image on the top right, you can enter after I can share my website, and I do a lot of work based based, handcrafted. And when I just arrived to Spain 5 years ago, I it's really difficult to find job as an artist. And also when you are even I had my master's degree and everything, but it was super complicated. So actually, I was trying many possibilities and see what I can do for earning and for paying my own life. And once I found out a scholarship for women to get women in technology here in Spain as UX designers, and I jumped in, and it was yeah, and my life changed since that moment. And then next and through that path, I also came across of circuit stream, and that was awesome too, because that also helped me shape my present and my future towards XR experiences and XR design development.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing. And then just kind of getting getting more into the circuit stream aspect. Once you did kind of come across us, how was your experience in the course?
Actually, it was a great experience. I regret not participating more in the coffee hours because I do think that team building it's a really important part on technology, and also sharing the tools and what is happening actually in the tech world, that it's constantly evolving and changing. But the workshop was really amazing. It's Of course, there are many things in technology that you can learn by yourself, but as you were saying before, the learning curve of certain things it's really complicated, and it's really good to have all the knowledge in one place, focus in one place. And also it helps you know in which level you are. So being at circuit stream really gave me an overview and an idea on which step, on which phase of this career or this profession I was, and also give me more tools to develop further, and also help me to know which was the thing that I prefer most. I did the workshop together with my colleague and friend Annabella, that we develop our final project together actually. And for example, she realizes that she really likes coding, for example, which I don't. And I appreciate that Unity has blocks to play around, because I don't like coding. But for example, she realized she loved that, and she inscribed in the next workshop bootcamp in of circuit stream, because we really liked the experience we had. And the teachers that we have, we are really thankful for all of them. Also, we had the opportunity to take the one-to-one experience. Yeah, I don't know how exactly you call it, but the one-to-one, um, yeah,
This,
possibility. How do you say it?
yeah, the support and mentorship package is
Yeah,
what the
exactly.
yeah.
And it was super useful, because we went directly to the things that we had, like some concerns, or more than concerns, questions, because we were focusing around our personal projects, and there were many things that, of course, it was a beginner's workshop, so we didn't knew how to build. And then together with a one-to-one that us was Indica, and was a great experience. We could follow up and develop our project.
Awesome. Yeah, Indica's great. He's very patient. I know I've had
Yes.
bombarded him with questions before, and he's he's very good at kind of simplifying things and just making it easily digestible.
Yes,
Um,
and also giving, sorry, Brenda, and giving us more information, and also, for example, other teachers that we still, our teacher from UX, we still consult her website, and she has a website, a blogspot. I cannot remember exactly now, but that she has super useful information, and it's great to be learning from people that is actually active in the doing things in the tech world. So
yeah, it's like you're always a student, right? And even
yes.
even the most expert professionals, they're still learning and they're still kind of evolving as this technology evolves. So, so great point. In terms of like the live classes, how did you find those, as well as the on-demand materials, and how did you like generally the structure of the course as it was being delivered?
I really liked it, and it's not because you invited me to say this. It's because I'm really saying that I really like how the workshop went. The live classes worked perfectly. There were no problems. It was easygoing, and also the teachers were doing all their best to make that happen. It was good that we had the classes recorded, because sometimes, there are some days that you're not fully concentrated, fully focused on something. So it's nice to be able to rewatch them again, at least for me, because I was working at the same time as doing the workshop. So some days I needed to rest a little bit, because they are quite packed, the information that you get per class. I also see now in the in the proposal that you did before, that there are new things that you are adding to the workshop, and I find them super good. Like I brought them up, like Shape XR. It's a super good tool that we are actually using it now, and we didn't have it at that time. So it's nice to also see that it's improving with time. And what else? And for example, Luciana was always helping us if we had any problems, if we didn't understood something regarding the platform, that I know now it changed from the one we have been before, but she was extremely helpful. So yeah, super happy how we really felt contained and helped through the process. So really, really happy.
Beautiful. Yeah, and you kind of touched on this already. Previously, when I think when you were going through the course, our community was on Slack. We've since moved it to Discord. But how did you find that community, as well as like the extra activities, like the office hours or demo days? Did you find you were participating in those, and how much value did they add to your kind of learning experience?
Actually, as I told you, I wish I could have been participating more, because now you realize that actually it's a lot of team building too, working in tech, and also because most of the people, for example, nowadays I remote work, and that's how you get to meet people, and that's how another thing that you also learn is that this is still a small world, and people are it's getting bigger, but it's still small. So you end up uh, listening about people that study with you, that are getting jobs in really nice companies and stuff like that, and it's great to actually do that team building while you are studying and learn from each other. As I told you, I wish I put more attention and more focus on that. So for future students, I will recommend you to do some team working through all the platforms that Secrets team is making available.
Yeah, it's great that you went through the course with someone you know, but definitely would suggest any students considering taking a course like that. Community is great. Again, like Arky and Lucy are very active in there, and our instructors are all very helpful on there as well. Um, so, how were you able to manage your time while taking the course? I understand you were also working and going to school at the time. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, definitely. Actually, it was a little bit intense, and in that part, I'm super thankful to my colleague, to Annabella, that we kind of split, and that's why we decided to do a project at end project together. Just because of that, we didn't have enough, and also we work for the same companies. That's why I'm saying colleagues and friends at the same time, and that helped me a lot. And also because she's better at coding than I am, so that also helped that a lot. But yeah, the possibility to rewatch the classes, that was a huge help, because yeah, uh, mixing two things, yeah, it's tough, but it's possible. I mean, it's not. I had a life too. apart from going to doing circuit stream and have remote work. So yeah, I really encourage it, and I should say I should also say thanks to the company that I'm working at, that actually they pay for us this workshop that we chose, that we wanted to do. So super thankful for that. And yeah, and there are tools that we use until now. I did, I think, more than 1 year ago, and we still using and applying things that we learned. And even if for me, that, as I told you, I don't like coding, there are many things that now I understand about how they work, and as a UX designer I can control, direct, and design better, and get a better understanding between dev and UX design team, because I know how the engine works.
Yeah, wonderful. You mentioned like the I think the bolt system that Unity has, where it's like the plug and play almost script, but definitely certainly helps to understand your kind of C sharp basics. Um, can you tell me a few examples of things that can be done with the knowledge you've acquired, or maybe give us like a preview of some things you've worked on?
Prototyping, and that's one of the biggest, and what's is one of the purpose why we did the workshop, and also understanding the connection between also the importance of make putting UX into XR. It's kind of a new language, not that new, but it's quite new. Regarding human history, it's super new. So we there are many things that we need to take into consideration, and actually bringing all the knowledge that UX design has been developed to the XR community will make that the things that we design are much more human centered and designed for people that will really use them. So that knowledge, I think it's super important. And the nice part of having a workshop that started with UX and then moved to the technical part, I think, yeah, give this idea super clear. That's from one point. The second one gives us tools to prototype, and that's super useful because, of course, we are based. I loved Figma. I'm a big Figma lover, and for example, sometimes you need to explain things in 3D, and then Figma becomes a little bit short. So be able to have other tools and to explain what you want and to express yourself, uh, it's super useful as a UX designer and also as an artist. So um, and yeah, um, those are the two things that comes up to my mind. But yeah, it also helped me to to make that transition to just being a UX designer to being a UX designer into 3 dimensions, let's say.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of built on previous knowledge and experience you had, and are now able to kind of work very fluently with AR and VR specifically. These platforms that are kind of emerging and gaining traction. We heard Apple's going to be coming out with their own device in the near future. So as these devices do become more accessible and more kind of common, I think demand is still going to be huge in terms of being able to create these UIs on these platforms. So yeah, great point. And then just talking about more like your career now. So how do you transition into this new career from where you were before?
Actually, it was a mix of many things, of luck, I should say that. But of course, you need to be prepared when the luck knocks on your door. You need to to be prepared. And fortunately, I did at the end of when I studied, I did a workshop on UX design, and once a bootcamp on UX design, and once I finished, I put a lot of effort into my portfolio and also into updating social networks such as LinkedIn, which is super important, which I have not updated yet. So that's like a little bit like an oxymoron from myself to be saying this, but it really helped me at least to find job, LinkedIn, because I just posted what I had, and suddenly one person that I knew from long ago saw that I made a change on my path, and text me that they were looking someone with my profile, like creative, but at the same time really having being able to empathize with people's and projects, and being able to handle big projects and stuff like that. But I was like, I'm new at the UX, but it was no problem. You're gonna start learning while doing. And then I had meetings. I passed the meetings, and then the rest is history. And I still it's almost 3 years that I work for the same company, and I'm super happy and thankful for them, even though there was a lot of internal restructure. But the good thing about also entering into circuit stream, it was that that also, together with the work that I was doing, I could grow at the same time, w- learning and growing, and putting that things that I had learned into action at the same time. And that's also a possibility that it's amazing. And I don't know if I'm glad and happy that I had the chance to have that, because you can see actually what it works and what it doesn't, and also you can learn a lot by making, of course, and by making mistakes too. And that's one of the nice things about UX, is that you learn by doing and by failing but correcting. It's that's the possibility of fast prototyping, that you can fail fast. There's a phrase, a really nice phrase, that says fail faster and and yeah, and have bigger goals. I don't remember exactly how it was, but if you can test fast and see the mistakes, then when you go to development, you are much sure and much robust on what you are developing and presenting. So, and I don't know if I left the questions that you made me because I started talking, and but get me back on track.
No, that's great. Yeah, and you mentioned learning by doing. I think that's definitely a kind of a mantra of circuit streams. Why we, are so I'll say deliberate about including those projects, throughout the learning experience. Last question for you today is just what's your typical day, work day look like as an XR designer? Can you take us through, yeah, what kind of the process is?
Well, actually, my days are quite chaotic and my life itself, but the only thing stable that I have is my 8 hours work, which some days are splitted, but still 8 hours. And that's one of the great things that remote work allowed me, that is to keep traveling and to keep also my artistic career in parallel. And I really appreciate that. And also because they are super different at this moment in my life, I could actually enjoy both and have them at the same time happening. So basically, on the mornings, because I work for a different time zone, the company is American, so it's I live in Europe and the company is American. So basically, in my mornings, I go to my studio to do art and work in projects or doing work, or yeah, or application forms or whatever I have to do. And then after midday, evening until night, I'm actually working on my computer and in my home, at a coffee place, at whatever I found better, or in another country, and that I really appreciate. And there is an average of 2 to 4 hours per day of meetings with client, internal meetings with the team. For example, I work together with Annabella. We are the UX team, the whole team of UX of the company. So we work in one call during the whole day to be working at the same time. And we are really thankful to tools like Figma that allow you to work at the same time and prototype at the same time that you are talking, and that's amazing. And there are a lot of other tools. I'm in love with Figma, so because it's amazing on prototyping. On Yeah, it's a wonderful tool. And so basically, yeah, there's a lot of parts that is designing, but there's a big part of being a UX designer that is talking and also trying to understand other people's needs and expectations regarding what you are building. So client management, it's also something that happened for UX. And UX is a little bit like glue team between the other teams, because we need to first have bring the idea to well, paper between brackets, but to Figma or to ShapeXR or whatever tool, and then that should be passed on to dev and to our team. So we are kind of in between the project manager or digital producer and the dev team and the art team and the client. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Really, that's the word, interesting.
So you have a lot of I guess stakeholders to consider when you're doing your job, and I'm sure that requires a lot of communication between a number of different teams.
A
Um,
lot. And also, for example, sorry to interrupt, but there are some projects that we are doing internally for the we take projects for other companies, so it's B2B most of the time, but we have also done projects for our boss, the boss of the company, and that's a weird stakeholder kind because it's your boss, and again, it's a client. So yeah, it's a really nice case to learn, a case study to
So
take
yeah,
it.
yeah, it sounds like you've got a very versatile skill set in terms
Yes.
of being able to apply it in many different ways. What would be like maybe an example of a project that you've worked on recently?
Well, we are really now really fully into metaverse and designing metaverse spaces. This is, for example, one of the things that I'm telling you, that we have our boss like the stakeholder, the main stakeholder of the whole project. But they vary between applications that have to do VR and multi-platform. That's another thing that now is really demanded, that is VR and also mobile, and that is also web XR, and all together. So need to find tools to make that happen. But regarding musics and musicians, a platform for musicians to be able to perform, robotics, and VR also for cases to train people, for training people to do works, different kinds of works. They were from robot to actually working in gigafactories. They're really, really a lot, and really different kinds of projects. But the last one, it was regarding the metaverse, and that's one of the things that it gets asked more to the company I'm working for. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, metaverse is I think a pretty big buzzword at this point in the industry. So it's kind of exciting to see what progress is being made on that front. But thank you so much for your insights, Elián. I'm sure our audience will have tons of questions for you during the Q&A. For now, I just want to share a little bit more about the course information. So I'll
Awesome.
invite you back on stage maybe in about 10 to 15 minutes, and we can field some of those questions from our audience members.
Thanks a lot, and waiting for those questions.
Awesome, thank you. So next up we have uh, just an example of some of the other students that have joined Circuit Stream's courses. So in addition to Elián's success, many of Circuit Stream's graduates have stories of their own of how they've taken their skills onto bigger, better things. Whether that looks like landing new roles within the industry, such as Lee Walker and Tara Oberoi, bringing new skills and opportunities to their current organizations, such as Andrew Alderete and Tenny Pinero, or landing grants and funding for their ideas created in the courses like Jennifer Swan and Eileen Chu. There's no shortage of success stories amongst our alumni here at Circuit Stream. And at this point, I'm also very curious to know, and I'll post another quick poll here, but do you feel at this point you have a good understanding of the program, specifically the interaction design and prototyping for XR course? So again, just if you can take a look at that polls tab, we'd love to just hear your feedback, understand, if we can expand more on the information we're providing. So I've posted that, and again, would be greatly appreciated if you could visit that polls tab. Each of our partners cohorts launch on the same dates, so all of them are kind of in alignment in terms of when they launch. So whether you're looking at the University of British Columbia, the University of Toronto School of Continuing Studies, the University of San Diego Professional and Continuing Education, the University of California, Riverside, Syracuse University, University of Nevada, Reno, or some of our newer members are the University of New Hampshire, as well as Joliet Junior College. All the next launch dates for the design course are going to be on March 8th, 2023. Please also keep in mind that each cohort has multiple time slots to choose from for added flexibility with your schedule. And then if you're looking to download the syllabus for the course specific to some of our partners, I'll leave this slide up here just for a moment, and you can take a look at the relevant institution that you may be close to. As we saw earlier, I think a lot of our audience members are from BC, so UBC is obviously a very well-established institution on the west coast of Canada there. And I saw somebody, Judo actually, was asking about the prerequisites for the course. So there's really none. The interaction design and prototyping for XR course is very much beginner friendly. So fear not if you don't have any Unity or XR experience just yet. Beginners are certainly welcome. And then one more quick note about our beginner-friendly XR courses is we have the standalone option, which includes your desired course. We also have plus packages available, which includes either of our 10-week courses, but also either of our C# scripting fundamentals or UX design fundamentals courses, depending on which track you plan to focus on, whether that's the developer track or the designer track. So those come with the additional courses as well as that 10 hours of dedicated one-on-one time with an instructor, which we recommend using for project support or further mentorship on specific concepts within the course. So we also have many financing plans available. So for our international students, including students here in Canada, actually, we have financing plans available for 3 up to 12 months. I believe it was 3, 6, or 12, starting as low as $300 a month. And then for our US students, we've partnered with an organization called Climb. They focus on helping professionals and students fund educational courses, and they have loan terms available for up to 5 years for eligible applicants or with an eligible co-borrower. And those plans start at $150 a month. If you'd like to chat more in depth about your Unity or XR education goals, or perhaps learn more about CircuitStream and any of our course offerings, contact our admissions teams. We have enrollment advisors, Roham, Shoshana, Siobhan, and Adesua would be happy to connect and have a conversation about finding your best approach. So I wanted to thank you all very much for joining us today. Special thank you to Elián as well for sharing your time and insights with us. And at this point, I'd like to kick off the Q&A. So I'll invite our guest, Elián, back on stage to field all the great questions you've had. It looks like we've got about 20 in there so far, and feel free to continue asking any questions that come to mind. But we will get started with, I'm just going to organize these for 1 second. Okay, so first question is from Raquel. So how much time should we expect to spend on completing assignments every week?
Well, it depends. Let me try to remember how much time did I spend. Now I think you have like 4 projects to be building to build. Along, we only had one, and it was our personal project and the exercise we have per class. So I think probably much more time, and also much more time that the one I spent. That was at least 3 times a week. I was putting some hours at least to work on that. But yeah, again, it really depends on how easy is to you and how familiarized with also with technologies. For example, for me, I have studied also animation long time ago, so I was kind of familiarized with 3D applications. Of course, Unity is a game engine, but still, there are some things that 3D programs can help you to understand, at least the interface and many other things. So it really depends on which is your background, and if you're really coming from scratch, maybe you have to put more hours. But yeah, it depends a little bit on in each one. But to summarize the answer, at least 3 days a week.
At least 3 days a week, yeah. And just from what our instructors have mentioned to me, it's they recommend typically like between 3 and 5, sometimes more than 5 hours a week, to those external kind of outside of the live session projects.
Yes.
And then again, the course commitment on a weekly basis is 3 hours of live instruction, and then you have up to 5 hours a week of open office hours. So if you need additional help, instructors are available on a daily basis. Great question, Raquel. Next question is from Jane. What percentage of your students generally find XR employment in the first year? This is one for me, I think, and that's a very, very good question. It's something that we're looking to get a better handle on. Tracking, student employment after the course has been a bit of a challenge for us, but we are looking to kind of, get those numbers so that we can share them with you. Long story short, we don't have those figures available to us right yet, but it's something that we're looking into and trying to kind of compile that information for. But thank you for your question, Jane. Next question is from Chelsea. Are there any scholarship opportunities for the courses at CircuitStream? So on occasion there are for the developer bootcamp, the Unity Game Developer Bootcamp, regarding the 10-week beginner-friendly courses, so either XR development with Unity or interaction design and prototyping for XR. Neither of those have scholarships per se, but we do sometimes run sales along with our partners. So typically, like around Black Friday, we'll have a big sale, and that's one that we visit every year. Just have to keep, I guess, keep a line of sight on any of the promotions, and typically we'll send out some information or emails regarding any sales that will be coming up. So stay tuned, Chelsea. Next question is from Nikki. So how does CircuitStream compare to XR Bootcamp? They structure their final projects as a team prototype that is developed while collaborating under the direction of a project manager like one would on the job. Yeah, maybe you can speak to this one a little bit, Elián.
Yes. Well, as I told you, we already were working on the company, and we were also doing the Secret Stream workshop, and I was working with my colleagues, so with Annabella, and so basically we take the opportunity actually to do a project in order to learn the tools more than to how what it meant to do something in the industry, as we were having our jobs to actually practice that. We wanted our purpose with Annabella at that time and I was to actually try to understand Unity and the program itself and the tech and the tool itself, more than to apply that into something that could be that that could be for the on the market or on a regular base. uh, I don't know if I'm answering your question, or it was I'm trying to read it again to see if you were going towards another uh, kind of answer, or
So I think it's a difficult one to answer just because I don't think either of us are overly familiar with XR Bootcamp. We do have, you know, with each of our courses, you have the option to create your own project or bring your own idea into the course with you, and that can be done like individually, or if you'd like to put a team together, we kind of, leave it pretty open ended. If you're wanting to put together like a team and maybe appoint someone as like the project manager, like certainly our instructors would help with just kind of organizing that and making sure that everyone's kind of working in the same direction.
it
But yeah,
depends.
it's sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, that it really depends on what you are looking for to obtain from the workshop, and in the direction do you want to use it. If you are really looking for understand the tool, then go for a solo project and do it by yourself. But if you really, it's going to be your first opportunity to see how the industry works and how doing something digital works, then go for a group project. That definitely it's a thing, because in tech, uh, you will always be working with more people, at least people from other how do you say, from other teams, maybe a developer or art or project managers, but you will always work with other people. So if you want to also practice that skill of being able to communicate with other people and try to put an idea all together, definitely go for a team option.
Yeah. So and the other thing is, I think XR Bootcamp is longer winded than our 10-week courses. So this wouldn't necessarily be comparing apples to apples. Our game developer Unity Bootcamp, that would be more similar to the XR Bootcamp in structure, where there's more opportunity to get like career support as well as work in teams. So yeah, the XR Bootcamp I know is a longer duration course. Again, more comparable I think to our Unity Developer Bootcamp. But certainly there's opportunities to work in teams if that's what you like to do. Great question, Nikki. Next question is from Christopher. So can I use my Mac OS as my daily driver? do you use a Mac by chance, Elián? Yeah.
Yes, I was a Mac user, so you can. And actually, for AR things, it's when I did the workshop, it was much better to use AR on a Mac. For for VR, sometimes it's better to use a PC, to use Windows, but yeah, and also a PC because you have much memory and the card and the film card and the video card, but you can handle it with Mac. And I also think, like, I haven't checked yet if it's if some things got better, because I'm not really dealing with Unity myself, touching it directly, but I'm sure things got advanced and you can do it with, yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
generally both Mac and PC works. I know Macs, they come standard with pretty solid like internal components, so you won't have any issues there. And yeah, most of these tools that we'll be using, or every tool actually, is integrated with Mac as well. So you shouldn't have any trouble there. Next question is from Trevor. So, need to purchase additional software license to complete projects? Simple answer is no. Any did you run into any situations like that, Elián, where there was like a subscription or membership required to use any of the tools?
There was one, but I cannot. It was regarding the AR, but this was 1 year and a half ago, and actually we have it for free for like the tryout period. But apart from that, and I don't use it in my day work, so not really. And for example, I had also that I'm working in this company and they pay for the software like Figma or stuff like that. But uh, yeah, not really.
Yeah, I know for a fact there's no tools that you'll use that you
No.
can't like start out on like a free membership and on trial basis. So yeah, there's no tools that we require you to like purchase or anything like that over and above the course. Uh, Thank you, Trevor, for your question. Next question is from Christopher. Will completion of the Circuit Stream course grant credits in the partner universities? So this is something, Christopher, that we are working on. It takes a very long time for the academic review process to allow for something like that, especially from third-party, education providers. Um, but it is something that we have in the works. It's not something that's available yet, so that there's no credits available. You'd still be looking to receive the XR either developer or designer certification, which are both done in partnership with the school. So you will receive a relevant certification from that school, as well as in partnership with CircuitStream. Next question is from Nicholas. Is it fundamental to have any working knowledge of scripting language to excel in the course?
I don't think so. I think you need to like it, which it was not my case again. But I mean, the coding, but and scripting, as you were saying, but not. There's no need. No, there's no need. Definitely, I think it was Annabella's case. She liked it, and she really liked it, and that was enough for learning.
Yeah, so I know for the interaction design and prototyping for XR, that is a design focused course. You don't have to know any scripting whatsoever. Most of what you'll be doing can be done using kind of the standard, I guess, UI of Unity and the tools that are available. And then for the XR development with Unity course, that's where your scripting would be applied. But again, you don't have to be an expert in C# to join that course. It's beginner friendly, and we certainly show you the ropes there as well.
And
Thank
there's
you
a
for your
huge,
question.
oh, sorry, and there's a huge community also, that if there's something that you don't know how to do it, probably there is a lot of people that already solved it, so they can help you with that.
Yeah, no shortage of resources. Again, like if you're just getting started with Unity or with coding, anything like that, this is one of the best environments to do it in. You'll have tons of support from instructors as well as your peers and other students. So don't feel like that's a barrier. It can be tricky to learn or get started learning, but there's again no shortage of resources here to help you. Next question is from Nicholas. Any discounts for alumni for any future courses? So we do have alumni discounts available, and it just depends on which course you're looking at. Another question from Christopher. So Elián and the Circuit Stream team, have you used GPT-3 for XR or AR purposes, or otherwise anything fun you can share? Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
I've actually tried. Yes, I'm trying because of course it pop up and we are all super excited and we all start trying it. And I have a lot of friends that also are super excited and trying it and making GPT funny questions. One of my first uses it was for writing my thesis that I need to do that for my doctorate studies, but that's another subject. And I was really wondering if the GPT could actually help me making my text longer because I do not reach the minimum, and for the moment it doesn't work that well for that yet. So yeah, but that's another use of the chat GPT for the future regarding institutions and universities. That's another chapter of the thing. But one thing that it was funny that I we were with the kind of assistant of the digital producer, and once they asked Annabella and I, when I don't remember regarding what it was, but what was our opinion on something that that one client said, and we gave our opinion, and that was it. And then the next day she arrives and she says, Wally says, you know what, I asked ChatGPT what the opinion was on this subject, and actually said the same as you, Elian. So I don't know if that is good or actually super bad, but but it was a funny experience. But yeah, no, in XR AR, for the moment I haven't tried it. It's more for like this silly playing with and more for institutional purposes rather than for XR AR for the moment.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for your question, Christopher. I haven't used it myself. I'm afraid to open Pandora's box with AI, but it's definitely all over the news, and it seems like it's catching a lot of momentum in its use cases. So be interesting to see where it goes. Question from Jane: is there any kind of job search help in your resources, like a demo day that recruiters are part of, or people who help tune your portfolio or connect you to jobs? Great question, Jane. So for our 10-week courses, we don't have necessarily like dedicated career support, but our instructors are happy to help you with, like interview prep or, putting together your portfolio. I know for the Unity Game Developer Bootcamp, that's our career track course, and that's the one that has dedicated career support throughout that 30-week period. And then at the end, you'll actually do a pitch day presentation to our employer and hiring partners. But again, that's not available to our 10-week course students. Tons of like general career support. I know there's places to find job postings, things like that, but there's not a kind of dedicated like career advisor to work with per se. Last question. Oh, got a couple questions actually. So next question is from Katerina. So one more time to specify, may this course help to understand better ARKit?
If it's a question for me, at the end we touch base on that. I don't know, now it seems that you have much more units regarding the AR kit. We touch it on the surface, and actually I had to start rewatching them again because I hadn't touched them for a long time, as our end project was in VR, and we're almost not using AR at the moment at the company. But yeah, it really helped me at the beginning to understand at least a little bit how it worked and the on the functioning of it. But it's not something that I'm every day touching it. So yeah, I don't exactly remember what we have done on the workshop. But I don't know, Brendan, if you have much more clear the U. But
Yeah, so you'll definitely touch on ARKit, and I mean, in terms of like doing like a massive deep dive into that tool, there's dedicated units, but it depends. I guess it depends on what you're trying to do with it specifically. But yeah, ARKit is involved for sure. Another question from Nicholas: are there any professional fields that are looking for XR development outside of gaming? Yeah, tons. So pretty much every industry is looking to adopt XR in one way or another. So we've seen it applied to healthcare. Training.
Training.
Training
Mm.
is a very common one. Um, and
Education too. There's a lot. Health. I don't know if you said health, but health also. Yes, there are a lot of industries. Entertainment too, but not gaming. I mean, cinema, music, all those kinds. Yeah, also.
yeah, education, travel, like it's
Mm.
kind of again in its infancy stage, I think, with a lot of these industries, but they're organizations that are looking to create like efficiencies or new opportunities with their businesses using this technology. So definitely there's tons of opportunities out there outside of gaming. It's not just gaming specific. I feel like whenever new exciting technology comes out, like the entertainment is the sole focus until others find ways to adopt it in different ways. But yeah, the opportunities are certainly out there, Nicholas. Next question is from Nikki again. So, any recommendations for an entry level PC laptop for VR? I'm just looking at the chat. I think Dehan or Z can post our um, like basically our version of will it run. So the kind of specs that it requires. Yeah, there we go. Will it run? Can't even finish the sentence before Dan is all over it. So thank you for posting that, Dan. Yeah, check the chat, and that's a great resource to go through when you're considering like purchasing a new machine specific for AR VR development. And then last question, I believe, is from Trevor. Is there support for publishing to WebGL in Unity? Any talk of pixel streaming? So I myself am not that familiar with WebGL. Is this anything you could speak on, Elián?
My apologies.
So we'll see if Dayon knows more about WebGL. I'm unfortunately not a very good resource in this regard. But yeah, is there support for publishing to WebGL in Unity? Any talk of pixel streaming? I think that's more of a development question. Okay, we can publish. Oh, Indica, here to save the day. We can publish for WebGL with Unity.
We even record like in the video of the final project. It was a big thank you, Indica, and it's again like thank you, Indica.
I should have a hotkey for that statement. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Indica, for jumping in there. Hope that answers your question, Trevor. And let's see if there are any additional last minute questions here for us. Does not look like it. Okay, well that concludes our Q&A and our open house for today. Again, just wanted to thank everyone for being here, especially you, Elián, for sharing your story with us and your insights. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to any of our enrollment advisors. They'd love to chat with you about your goals and find kind of a best approach for you.
Again,
So
thanks. Oh, sorry, no, just to say thank for Secret Stream to you, and also let's hope to see you all around in the social networking and in the tech industry. So
yeah,
good.
everyone connect with Elián and myself on LinkedIn. We'd love to chat further. But that concludes our open house for today. Again, thank you everyone, and until next time, that's our session.
Nice to meet you all, and thanks for being here.
Bye, guys.